Was Tupac a prophet? For years, fans have debated whether his words were simple observations or chillingly accurate prophecies. Today, we're diving deep into 5 times Tupac Shakur uncannily predicted the future. Get ready, because what you're about to hear might just change how you see the legendary artist forever. Let's start with the most haunting prediction of all, his own death. This wasn't just a one-off line in a song. It was a recurring theme, woven throughout his work and public life. In the song, Ain't Hard to Find, released shortly after his death, he raps, "I heard a rumor I died, murdered in cold blood, dramatized." It feels like he's speaking from beyond the grave. In an interview just months before he was killed, he spoke with an eerie sense of finality, saying he felt his life was nearing its end. He told reporters he wanted to get his message out quickly because he didn't feel he had much time left. He described detailed visions of his own funeral. Was this just the paranoia of a man living a dangerous life, or did he genuinely sense his fate? The way he described being shot, the feeling of his spirit leaving his body, it's detailed in his lyrics with such precision that it is hard to dismiss as mere coincidence. It felt less like artistic expression and more like a man documenting a premonition he couldn't escape. Next, let's talk about his foresight on social justice issues, particularly police brutality, and what would become the Black Lives Matter movement. Decades before the movement gained global recognition, Tupac was its lyrical architect. In songs like Changes, he painted a vivid picture of the systemic racism and police aggression that black communities faced daily. He rapped, "And still I see no changes. Can't a brother get a little peace? It's war on the streets and a war in the Middle East. Instead of war on poverty, they got a war on drugs so the police can bother me." These weren't just lyrics. They were a diagnosis of a societal sickness. He spoke about the cycle of poverty, incarceration, and violence with a clarity that feels like it was written yesterday, not in the 1990s. He articulated the frustration, the fear, and the desperate call for equality that would echo through the protests of the 21st century. He didn't just see the problem. He saw the inevitable boiling point, the moment people would have no choice but to rise up and demand to be heard. He predicted the coming storm of social unrest because he was already living in its eye. Now, let's shift to the music industry itself. Tupac saw the commercialization of hip-hop coming from a mile away. He was deeply critical of what he called fake rappers artists who he felt were in it for the money and fame, not for the culture or the message. He warned that hip-hop, a genre born from struggle and truth, was being watered down and sold out. In interviews, he lamented that the art form was becoming a product, packaged and sold by corporations that didn't understand or respect its roots. He predicted a future where authenticity would be sacrificed for chart success, where rappers would chase trends instead of speaking their truth. Sound familiar? Today, we see this debate play out constantly. The conversation about real hip-hop versus mumble rap, or commercial success versus lyrical substance, is the very one Tupac started. He foresaw a world where artists would be more concerned with brand deals and social media clout than with pushing the culture forward. He wasn't just a critic. He was a gatekeeper, trying to protect the soul of the music he loved from the very forces that dominate the industry today. Number 4 is a prediction that hits incredibly close to home in our modern digital age: the rise of mass surveillance. Long before smartphones were in every pocket and social media tracked our every move, Tupac was talking about a lack of privacy. He often spoke about feeling watched, not just by rivals or law enforcement in the traditional sense, but by a larger, unseen system. In his music and interviews, he described a world where your every action is monitored and judged. He had this deep-seated paranoia about being under a microscope. While some might have seen it as ego or delusion at the time, he was essentially describing the blueprint for our 21st century reality. He talked about the government and powerful entities using information to control people. Today, with digital footprints, CCTV everywhere, and data collection being a multi-billion-dollar industry, Tupac's paranoia looks a lot more like prophecy. He understood that information was power and that the erosion of privacy was a tool of control, a concept that we are all grappling with in the age of big data and surveillance capitalism. He saw the invisible prison being built around us before most of us even knew what a digital footprint was. Finally, let's look at his belief in the power of the next generation. Tupac had this unwavering faith that a new, younger, and more rebellious generation would rise up to challenge the system. He often spoke about the youth being the key to real change. He envisioned a generation that was fed up with the lies, the inequality, and the status quo. He believed they would be more radical, more connected, and more powerful than any before them. In his famous Rose That Grew from Concrete metaphor, he wasn't just talking about himself. He was talking about the potential within every young person growing up in harsh conditions. He predicted that their collective anger and intelligence would eventually coalesce into a powerful movement for change. Look at the youth-led movements of today, from climate change activism to social justice protests. Young people are more politically engaged and vocal than ever, using technology and social media tools that didn't even exist in Tupac's time to organize and demand a better world. Tupac didn't just hope for this. He predicted it. He saw the fire in the youth and knew that, sooner or later, it would ignite a revolution. So, after hearing all this, we have to ask the question again. Was Tupac a prophet, gifted with an uncanny ability to see the future? Or maybe he wasn't a prophet at all. Maybe he was just a brilliant, hyper-aware observer who wasn't afraid to speak the truth. Maybe he just saw the patterns, the injustices, and the trajectory of our world before the rest of us were ready to open our eyes and see it for ourselves. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Was it prophecy, or was it just painful truth? Don't forget to like this video if it made you think, and subscribe for more deep dives into the legends that shape our world. Thanks for watching.